I have a top 5.
Hey.
Now that super wild card weekend is in the books. You got that one? Wild card weekend's in the books. We won't be hearing Wile E. Coyote for a while until obviously the big week of the bowl.
I'm going to miss it.
All right, here we go. Top 5 storylines to come out of wild card weekend. Number 5 on the list. This is something we're not talking about because we've seen 4 games since it happened. But the Jacksonville Jaguars are one of the final 8 teams in the NFL.
Love it.
This year.
Love it.
This is what every league wants. Your team's in the dumpster fire. Your team is choosing the first pick in the draft. Doesn't matter. Possibilities are limitless, and you can turn things around right now. Every league wants that. Every league is baseball. Major League Baseball would kill to have the worst team in the league every year have a chance to win the World Series. We all know that that team's season is usually over by, Memorial Day if they're lucky. The Jacksonville Jaguars have turned this around. They got the coach right. They've got the roster right. How delightful was Christian Kirk yesterday? And if you missed that interview, go listen to it. But let's not discount it. The Jacksonville Jaguars, who have picked first overall in the last 2 drafts, are going to Kansas City to try and one-and-done the Chiefs after one-and-dunning the Chargers. They could take down the 2 AFC West teams that made the playoffs, and that's the division that we all thought was the deepest end of the pool, even though the NFC East wound up putting 3 teams in the divisional round in the NFC. That's number 5. Number 4, speaking of the NFC having 3 teams in the divisional playoff weekend, the number 4 storyline to come out of Super Wild Card Weekend. Is this the new Daniel Jones? Is this what we got now? Because this guy is like a Terminator. He is throwing it in windows, tight windows, and he is sticking it where it needs to be. And he is running down your 17 carries. Couple times it was just like, is that Taysom Hill out there or Daniel Jones?
Yeah.
Right? And then my comparison that I made on yesterday's program, Colin Kaepernick. He's big, he's tall, he's fast, he's got a cannon of an arm, and he can run down right past you 3 strides and it's a first down. Because if this Daniel Jones is the new Daniel Jones, look out, Philadelphia. Yeah, seriously. Now, the problem is we haven't seen it with regularity since he got drafted. I mean, there have been flashes. You've picked him up probably when you're streaming a quarterback in your fantasy league, hoping that you catch that week that he is the runner and thrower that he can be. But that was unbelievable. Number 3 on this list. Simply put, Lamar Jackson, smoke or fire? What is happening? Because something appears to be up there. Even though all of his teammates have said, we love him. Marlon Humphrey's like, he's limping around here. You don't see him. He's limping around here. Calais Campbell, I think we should keep him. He's Mark Andrews, love him. He's my guy. They're all saying that in the locker room yesterday. Everything, and the coach, I love him. He's been rehabbing. I'm not there when he's rehabbing. He's doing that with the trainers. We love him. But everything else points to they're done with each other. Everything else. My spidey sense is picking something up. And I can't shake it. I can't. Because 2 things. Why wasn't he there on the sideline? Okay, why wasn't he there on the sideline? Well, because, knee swelling, it's traveling and all that stuff. Like Baltimore to Cincinnati was like my flight to Munich, right? Come on. All right? And then there are trainers. Ice it down. Ice it down. Your knee's swelling. Ice it down. Because, what, you're not additive on the sideline there? Unless you're not additive by being on the sideline there. And then there's the tweet that he put out about his injury. Who does that? We pointed out on the show, what if Big Ben had done it? we'd be all like, what's that about? That's weird. Here we're all like, oh, Lamar's showing everybody what hurts him. What was this about? Because I can guarantee you this. I don't need to go too digging on this. No team in the NFL wants their player to tweet this stuff out. And by the way, you can Google what a PCL strain 3 is. That's a tear. So he's on the borderline of a knee tear? Really? And if that's the case, and the team wasn't saying anything about it, and so is he calling out his training staff? Because they can't respond. I'm telling you, it could wind up being he's their guy and they sign him or franchise tag him and he's cool. And that, smoke or fire. That's the smoke. And the fire is they're done with each other because everything else from the contract to this point screams. If it was anybody else and the players weren't saying what they're saying, the coach wasn't saying what they were saying, they're done. And that's going to resonate. And the only quarterback situation that's going to overtake that is number 2 on the list is what we've been talking about for much of this show. And what does Tom Brady do next? I mean, that's, stop the presses. What does Tom Brady do next? After what we saw last night. Number 1 on the list of the top 5 storylines to come out of Super Wild Card Weekend. Brock Purdy is still batting 1,000. That's it. That's it. Can this guy really do it? As I said earlier, he was drafted in the final pick of the draft, as we all know. And, I feel for the Mr. Irrelevant group of people who are, probably over the moon that, hey, we had Brock Purdy as Mr. Irrelevant, but, kind of busts the myth of irrelevancy, don't you think? But long story short is he's drafted in between Tom Brady in the 6th round and Kurt Warner undrafted. And this is the magic carpet ride, if he pulls this thing off, that you can only compare it to. I just see the photograph. I'm getting goosebumps even thinking of Brady with his hands on his head as the guy in his young 20s. Can't believe it.
Best.
Can't believe I just won the Super Bowl. Kurt Warner, all you got to do is just rent or check out American Underdog. It's a really nice movie. That's it. That's it. The rest of the team's ready to win. Can this kid keep batting 1,000? And that's your top 5.
All right, we'll get one more.
I have one more. Look, as we know in this sport we all love, it is about possibilities. It is about imagining things that you think are impossible. And it's also about, communication, right? About being on the same page. And that's how you can pull off what one would think is unimaginable. And this is my last storyline. What game-changing discoveries will Albert Einstein make with his new cell reception? That's the other aspect of Super Wild Card Weekend that I think is a top storyline. Because it's right there in front of us. We see it all the time. It's nonstop. I mean, it's right there for us to see. One of the most brilliant creators and brilliant, sharpest minds.
Albert Einstein.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Has got new cell reception. What discoveries can he make? Even he's so excited, he leaves his bicycle behind. And it's faster than his running. We all see it. We all know it. And I can't wait to see it again because we're gonna. And that's my top 5 storylines to come out of Super Wild Card Weekend.
Wow.
That's up there with Brock Purdy still batting 1,000.
I think so.
Imagine
Yeah.
how life-changing this could be now that he's got new cell reception.
Yeah. How many seriously, I just want to know how many zeros.
That he got?
Yeah.
Oh,
Gotta be at least 6 zeros in there. Has to be 6 zeros.
Has to be 6 zeros.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.